Hey, and welcome to our spelling for week 2. Today, I thought we'd go through homophones, homograph, and homonyms. Now, I don't fully expect you at the end of it to be able to quiz you, like, what is a homograph? What is a homonym? But I kind of want to explain them. And even if you can't name what they are, just understand the difference between those different types of words. You probably heard me talk about homophones quite a lot in the past, but probably not as much in detail about homographs and homonyms. So let's get into it. Homophones we start with are the most common one that we talk about in class, and they're words in which they are spelt differently, but you pronounce them the same and they mean different things. So see and see, air and air, buy and you're going to buy something, cell as in like prison cell or cell phone, or stem cells and then cell, mail, the mail you get in the post, or you're a mail, here, you can hear it, or if you're right here now, flower in the garden, or flour that you cook with, pieces in a piece of cake, or pieces in no fighting, all those different words where you can clearly see the difference between them. And these are often the start of a lot of jokes, okay? A lot of jokes and a lot of puns that you'll hear me use, because if you know me well, you know that I'm quite obsessed with puns. Most of them revolve around homophones. So remember, homophones are words that have the same pronunciation, but different spelling and different meanings. Now, the next list is the words that aren't as common, and they're also quite tricky to read if you're reading like a story and you're going through it, which is homographs. Now, homographs are both the words are spelled exactly the same way, right? But you pronounce them differently and they mean different things. So it's really hard when you're reading a story, especially the word read, whether when you're coming up to the word, is it going to say read or is it going to say read? Because I read the book and I'm going to read the book are exactly the same spelling. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. It makes no sense at all. But you have to be able to, on the go, be able to change the word. So like, I'm going to read the book doesn't make sense. It must be read. Now, your brain's pretty quick and can pick up context clues about what word would make sense, and it puts in the right one quite often. The next one is live and live. If you're saying, I'm going to see a live performance of a band, or I'm going to live for a long time, those two could get mixed up. Okay, you're going to say like, I'm going to see Katy Perry live. Oh, okay, that's a bit weird. But if it was Katy Perry live, that makes more sense. The next one is bass. You play a bass guitar, or bass, which is bass fishing. Okay. Now, the next one's probably one of the ones that I see get mixed up the most, which is minute and minute. The next one is wind and wind. So if you're going to wind in a fishing rod, it's the same spelling as wind. Okay. Oh, he caught a fish, so he wind in. That doesn't make sense. So being able to pick up the context clues and change the spelling or change the way you read it accordingly. The next one is wound, as in you've got a sore, you've got a wound there, or wound, the past tense of wind. And the next one is tear and tear. Okay. You said, oh, there was a lot of tears. When I found out that I didn't get into my high school, I shed a lot of tears. Doesn't make any sense. So they're words that look the same, but they can confuse you. Okay. So we've got words that are spelt differently, and mean different things, but words that are spelt the same, but mean different things, and you say them differently. And then we've got a one that goes in the middle, which is words that are spelt the same, and you say them the same, but they mean different things. So like quarter, as in like you have a quarter as like a coin, or quarter as in quarter past. Bar, as in a bar of chocolate, or you're going to the bar. Sign, as in you're signing, or like a sign of distress, or like signing something. You've got bat, like the animal bat or the baseball bat. Desert and dessert. Tie and tie, and also tie from 5-6V. But he's been spelled differently. So his is a homophone, not a homonym. And capital letters and the capital of a country. So they're words that are spelt the same and you say them the same, but they mean different things. These are quite confusing as well. So with that, if we put a Venn diagram, these words at the top, right? They both are said the same, but they mean different things. And the ones down the bottom, they have the same spelling, but they get pronounced differently and they mean different things. Like I said, you being able to understand, I'm not going to quiz you on the different types of these things, but I want you to know the difference, because I'm telling you, homophones is one of the trickiest things, because lots of your spelling mistakes, you've heard that word before, but you're spelling the wrong version of that word, you know? And so we'll get to that with our spelling list for today. Now, the first list, I wonder if I can move this. Okay. The first list of words are just commonly misspelled words. They're not homophones necessarily. So we've got calendar. Everyone spells it calendar with an ER. Misspelt. I'm telling you, I spell the word misspelled. Like, is it double P? Is it? I don't know what it is. So it's mispelt. Occurred. Sometimes people know, is it one C or two C's or one R or two R's? Restaurant. Sometimes people think it's restaurant or rest. Anyway, it can get confusing. Successful, once again, double C, double S. Sometimes people don't know if the double L at the end or a double F in there. It can get quite confusing. Until, well, it's funny because until I was quite old, I spelled until with two L's. Don't know why, but I just did. And cemetery, everyone likes to spell it cemetery. Yeah. And then so we've got our homophones for this week, which is stationary and stationary. Yeah. One is the stuff you buy for school and one is not moving. Then you've got band as in a band or a music band. And then you've got band as in you're not allowed to do it. So you did something wrong on PS4 and you got banned for a couple of days, not mentioning any names. Allowed as in you're given permission to do something, or you're going to speak aloud, you're speaking out loud. And then accept as in you're saying yes to something, you're going to accept it, or accept like you're the one out. Like everyone's coming, everyone's invited to the E6 farewell except Mr. West. How dare you? So some of our activities today revolve around that. Sorry, this week. So type out your words once on Monday and Tuesday. Then you have to write down 10 homophones and each of the different alternate spelling of those lists. Then I want you to write down 5 sentences in which people might be confused by reading it. Okay, so the one I gave you is, I was so nervous about my cricket game, I picked up my bat and walked onto the field. People think you picked up a bat. Why would you picked up your bat and you walked onto the field, right? How could you confuse that? Okay, so think of, like I said, with the saw one, right? I saw my friend yesterday. Could be like you saw your friend. So come up with 5 examples of those sentences to do with that. And then you go fill in the missing words. Which word is it? Is it buy, buy, or buy? Is it not or not? Is it whether or whether? Is it those different ones? Come up with those lists and that should be it. All right, no worries. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.